Every day you come across many changes in your surroundings. These changes may involve one or more substances. So, our lesson of today will be on these changes which you observe, and they will be classified under physical and chemical changes. Let's consider the following examples. You decide to dissolve sugar in water to make a cold drink. So you have a cube of sugar, you place it in a bowl of water to obtain a cold drink, that is sugar solution. Making a sugar solution is a change. Let's consider another example. Opening your bottle of milk and exposing it to air, that is to humid conditions. Sometimes the milk becomes sour. Souring of milk is a change. You may decide to stretch your rubber bracelet. You will realize that it expands and contracts. Stretching the rubber bracelet also represents a change. Placing a nail out of the house that is exposed to air for some days. So you have a nail, you expose it to air for some days. You will realize that some brownish substances will be present on the nail. This also represents change. Okay, let's do the following exercises. We will begin with the first one. Cut a piece of paper into 4 equal squares. You have the first half, the second, the third, and the fourth half. Lay these pieces on the table so that they acquire the shape of the original piece of paper. Question: can you join the pieces back to make the original paper? Obviously, you can't. But is there a change in the property of the paper? You will be able to answer this question as we proceed. Let's take another exercise. Collect a small piece of chalk. You have a piece of chalk. You crush it into dust. Add a little water to the dust to make a paste. Roll it into the shape of a piece of chalk. So you have a piece of chalk, you crush it into dust. You place the dust in a little water to obtain a paste. You roll the paste into a piece of chalk. Question: did you recover chalk from the dust? You need to ask yourself that question after carrying out this exercise. Let's proceed with another exercise. Place some water in a pot and cover it using a lid. Heat the water and allow it to boil. Remove the lid. You will realize that as the water boils, vapor comes out of the water and settles on the lid. So, looking at the lid that's inwardly, you observe water droplets, don't you? In exercise 1 and 2, you realize that the paper and chalk underwent changes in size, while in exercise 3, the water changes states. That's from the liquid to the gas, and the gas condenses back to the liquid. Take note of the colored words in the above note. Properties such as size, shape, color, state of a substance are all called physical properties. So, we'll begin by defining a physical change. It is a change in which a substance undergoes a change in its physical properties. Physical properties are those which we mentioned above, that is, shape, size, color, state. It should be noted that this change is generally reversible and no new substance is formed. So, the above exercises are all examples of physical changes, since in exercise 1, that is the case of the paper, the shape and size of the paper changes. That is, the full paper is being cut into squares which are of smaller sizes than the original paper, but no new substance has been formed. Let's consider the example of the exposed nail, which we used in the beginning. The nail is exposed in the open for some days. It acquires films of a brownish substance called rust, and the process is called rusting. Also, iron benches kept in lawns, iron gates, and almost all iron articles kept in the open get rusted. Let's consider another example. That is the case of a piece of wood. Get a piece of wood, you burn it, you realize that the wood turns into charcoal, which later turns into ash. Has a new substance been formed? Let's do another one. That's another exercise. Place 2 teaspoonfuls of vinegar in a test tube. You add pinches of baking soda to it. What do you observe? You have 2 test tubes containing 2 different substances. In test tube A, we have vinegar and baking powder which has been added to it, while in test tube B, we have lime, water, and carbon dioxide. You may ask, where is the carbon dioxide coming from? So, in test tube A, When the baking powder is being added to the vinegar, it reacts with the vinegar and a gas is being released. This gas produces bubbles and a hissing sound. The gas passes through the column and gets into the lime water. This gas, that is carbon dioxide, reacts with the lime water to obtain calcium carbonate, which makes the lime water milk. This is a great change that brings us to the next definition, that is chemical change. It is a change in which one or more new substances are formed. It is also called a chemical reaction. Chemical changes are very important in our lives. All new substances are formed as a result of chemical changes. So, the three examples above where new substances were being formed are all examples of chemical changes. Even the production of a drug is the end product of a chain of chemical reactions. Useful materials such as a plastic bottle, detergents such as Omo Blue are produced by chemical reactions. Indeed, every new material is discovered by studying chemical changes. Let's note that in addition to new products formed during a chemical change, the following may accompany these changes. Your heat, light, or any other way radiation may be given off or absorbed. Sounds may be produced, like the case of the reaction between vinegar and baking soda, where carbon dioxide released produces a hissing sound. A change in smell may take place, or a new smell may be given off. Example, when food gets spoiled, it produces a foul smell. A color change may take place. For example, when you cut a slice of apple and you do not consume it immediately, you will realize that the inner part of the apple looks brownish, while it was white when cut. A gas may be formed. For example, still in the case of the reaction between vinegar and baking soda, carbon dioxide gas was formed. You will now do this quiz in order to evaluate your understanding of physical and chemical changes. You are required to place a tick in the right column. You have been provided with different changes. We have photosynthesis, burning coal, melting candle, digestion of food, dissolving sugar in water, cutting a log of wood into pieces, and formation of manure from leaves. All these are examples of changes. You are required now to place a tick in the white column to determine the change which is actually taking place in each of these cases. You can now do this exercise to evaluate your comprehension of physical and chemical changes. Thanks for your kind attention.